couple of years after 60 Minutes, I was working. I was in my chambers. It was lunchtime, and I got a call from a young woman whose name is Sandy Spreckman. She had been one of the segment producers on the People's Court, which had gone off the air a couple of years before. And she said to me that she and her friend, who had also been a producer, Kay Switzer, had watched the 60 Minutes many times, and they really thought that I would be a great judge on a program like the People's Court. Would I be interested? And that's how it came about. I had been in the family court for 25 years, and while 60 Minutes, there were no ramifications from 60 Minutes. You know, there were people who disapproved of the television in the courtroom, and I really couldn't care less about their opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. This was mine, and I still believe in open courtrooms. But I knew that after I wrote the book, Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining, there would be a lot of repercussions because I called a lot of people out. And my term was up in a couple of years. I wasn't particularly worried about reappointment, but you never can tell. But I was getting tired. You know, when you work at that crescendo, and it is if you work hard, and not everybody worked hard in the family court. There were some people who took it as a place to retire to. Those are the people who kept their doors closed. But I really worked hard. And I took 6, sometimes 8 Tylenols a day. And I look back at the 60 Minutes piece now. And it's interesting. When I watched it recently, I saw how ruddy my skin was. Just from stress, oil, aspirin, not enough rest. You know, didn't pamper yourself. You know, there were no facials. First of all, you couldn't afford them. Not lots of vacations, because you really couldn't afford those either. Just a lot of work, and I got to work very early in the morning, and I stayed until I was finished. So I was ready for a new adventure. I really didn't think that I would be fortunate enough to have 2 careers that I loved. I mean, I loved working in the family court. Even though it was a hard job, I still loved it. But, you know, so few people have the opportunity to have one career that's so fulfilling, and to think about having 2. But you got to be in the game to win it. I thought that it would be a show very similar to the People's Court, only with me at the helm. And maybe we would do cases that are slightly different, you know, something that were a little more emotionally meaty. But I just thought I was a different personality. And I didn't know if I knew that the People's Court had gone off the air, so I didn't know whether the public had tired of courtroom programming. I didn't know, really didn't know. But I thought, even this is an adventure, going out to California. And I only had really enough money to go out for a couple of days, and I stayed at a modest hotel, and went around and saw some people. And Larry Little from Big Ticket Television liked what he saw, liked what he heard, and said, I'll make you an offer, and we'll do a pilot and see what happens. It was People's Court kind of thing, but they really didn't have a sense of who I was. And they thought I was an actress, and I'm not. So they had some ridiculous cases, you know, ridiculous cases. I don't know, were they real people, not real, whatever it was. I need to deal with reality because I don't have a script. And I'm really working off what the facts are and what the people are really like. And if the people are not real, it's hard for me to get into it. So the pilot was actually quite awful. And everybody realized that it was quite awful, especially me. So what they did was they did a sales tape. Instead of doing a pilot, you know, they put together snippets of 60 Minutes, and they put together a little bit of interview, and and that's what they presented at NAPI. And I went to NAPI, and I schmoozed all the station managers, and lo and behold, we managed to clear enough of the country to get on the air that first year. We weren't in great time periods, and we weren't on great stations, but we were on the air. And I think probably almost immediately they saw that there was a growth. You know, we'd start little, and then somebody told somebody else about it, and they told 3 people over the fence, and before you knew it, we were hitting a number that was almost reasonable. And by the second year, we were in like Flynn.